When it comes to Intel's Alchemist lineup of video cards and the subject of mining, the number of topics available are limited. This is due in part to the lack of development that the platform has had within the mining community. However, with the recent IronFish project moving to their mainnet, it allows for the question, how well does the Intel cards perform? While I am limited to only the A750, let's take a look at its performance. For today's conversation, I'm currently running Intel's driver 31.0.101.4311. This is a beta driver that was released on April 7th of this year. The evaluation will also be done using SRB Miner version 2.2.4, and will start at Intel's default power setting of 180 watts. After a few moments, the miner is running, as we can see that the A750 is producing over 10 gigahash, while the total workstation's power draw is 362 watts. Yes, this is a lot of power, but what about the performance? And this is from a card that retails for less than $250. In the interest of reducing power, let's pull the power down to 144 watts. That's a 20% reduction. Will we lose 20% in performance? Let's find out. Notice that there has been a reduction in the performance down to 9.13 gigahash, which is about a 10% reduction from what we were previously doing. However, total power draw has dropped to 294 watts, about 20%. So it looks like the control panel may do a decent job in that regards. Now at this point, I'm going to reduce the power limit to the lowest possible. This is 90 watts. Let's see what happens. As expected, the performance drops again, this time down to 6.16 gigahash, with the total workstation power draw coming down to 192 watts. If we subtract the 100 watts that I observed when the computer sat idle, it looks like the card is pulling 90 additional watts when mining. This does provide an efficiency of 68.4 megahash, which is the best that I was able to achieve. I did spend some time evaluating if there was a sweet spot between 90 and 180 watts. From my experience, everything pretty much scales respectively, leaving the 90 watt setting at the best option when chasing efficiency. That said, I did experience an unexpected outcome. Let me share. I'm going to put up the screen capture showing the control panel and SRB Miner running. Do you see anything out of place? Take note of the power limit, as well as the power draw on the GPU. Now the hash rate in the miner. Is this too good to be true? It is, unfortunately, and while the miner does run for a bit, it eventually does fail, having also not submitted accepted shares. For a brief moment I was excited, and while this does not last, it might just show potential as more development is done in the mining software, as well as the Intel drivers. As a quick recap, while the A750 can do over 10 gigahash, it's best to pull the power back and live with the 6 gigahash performance. This does put the card on par with NVIDIA's RTX 3060 and AMD's RX 6600. And while it does cost less than those two cards, it still has some maneuvering to do on efficiency. Anyway, if you were curious, I hope this video answered the question. This is where I ask that if you have not already, consider subscribing to the channel and like the video. As always, be mindful of your uptime, and thanks for watching.